Hello, everybody. I am Attorney Michael Ehline, and as you guys know, I am a personal injury lawyer licensed to practice law in Texas and California. And I've had a really rough week, super busy week. So today I'm going to try to do two shows. One today at 1:30, started a little bit early, and then I'm going to try to do another one around 4-ish. And the reason I'm doing the 4-ish one is because last night I got a call from Brian over at Here's the Deal. I don't know, around 9 o'clock-ish Pacific time, saying, hey, what's going on? You need to check out Chili DeCastro's channel over at Delete Laws. So I go and check it out. Yeah, I do our guy 936. Good seeing you, Jody, by the way, in our guy 936. And so I go over there and I check out his channel, and I see right away there's like gay porn on his channel, and it's got like the blue, the cop flag, the pro cop flag with the blue line in it, kind of like the one that our guy has on his flag. And I was blown away. So I immediately called Chili, like, dude, what the hell is going on? Obviously, I knew it wasn't Chili doing that. I knew instantly that he'd been hacked. And I was calling him, trying to figure out what was going on. Everybody was calling him. Then BZ Watchdog calls me. Everybody's calling me like, hey, what's going on? It's kind of funny, really, because, I'm just his lawyer and friend. I don't really have anything to do with his channel and anything like that. I just tried to help him out when he got locked up. But either way, I'm glad you guys reached out, because I immediately called some of my friends who are forensic experts with hacking. And I'm going to tell you guys something right now. Whoever did this, you can run, but you can't hide. We will find you. We're going to find out who you are. You can try to hide behind a VPN. You can play your stupid little games, try to mess with people's livelihood for whatever stupid reason that you have. But we will find you. We're going to find out who you are, and you will face the criminal penalties and civil penalties when we do find you. So laugh all you want, all you fraudster losers. Your day will come. Chalky ara. Now, I see that our guy 96 or 936. So anyways, I was only going to do one show today. But because of what happened to Chili, I'm going to cover a show about the criminal and civil penalties of hacking into someone's website or YouTube channel, and negligent and intentional interference with business relations, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get into all that stuff because that is my background. I mean, my expertise is tort law, which is personal injury law. I know people like to say you're an ambulance chaser or whatever, and personal injury attorneys got that moniker because back in the old days, they would literally, like some of them, chase ambulances around and follow them to the hospital and try to sign up injury cases. Now that's illegal. That's called capping and running, and you can get into serious trouble. But that probably doesn't stop a lot of lawyers, because a lot of lawyers are not the most ethical people you're going to run into. I try to hold myself out to the highest ethical standards because I think that it's a real honor to be able to practice law. And I became a lawyer a really unique way. My background is blue collar. I've owned several businesses. I was Rodney Dangerfield's limousine driver, and I had a limousine company. And I got beat up by a West Covina police officer over a parking ticket when I was managing the Bally's Total Fitness in West Covina. I was loading in West Covina, California. I was loading my Jeep Cherokee up, getting ready to go to a mall show. And, I kind of gave him a hard time, like, hey, show me your ID. Don't you have anything better to do than write tickets? And of course, the guy immediately, tries to beat me, starts, giving me the open hand smack, trying to pop my eardrum. Total scumbag, loser. And ultimately, when I sued him after I beat his false arrest charge, because they always file bullshit charges against you when they arrest you. They'll charge you with resisting, obstructing, delaying under 148. That's standard operating procedure. After I beat that criminal charge, being forced to sweat it for almost 2 years, sued him, got about $29,999. That was back in like 96, which is like $100,000 now. And I was just so pissed that I got motivated to become a lawyer. And I did it while working full time, and I did it without an undergrad or formal legal education. I did it by working for lawyers, studying under judges, and becoming a lawyer under the law study program. And that's the way all lawyers became lawyers up until academia created law schools. So a little bit different of a background, just so you guys kind of know who I am. And hey, Wassa, good seeing you, man. Yeah, so Wassa and I were talking about this too, about what happened to Chili. And look, it could happen to any of you guys, but for whatever reason, Chili keeps getting targeted. And as he's matured and stuff, obviously he's got people who don't like him, but he's not the same Chili that he was 5 or 6 years ago or whatever. We all mature, we grow, we become better people. And I'm not saying he was a bad person. I'm just saying that, like, for example, us, when we're younger, we're aggressive, especially guys like Chili's got a wrestling background. I've got a background in, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and judo. And we just, we're a little bit more aggressive than your average bear. And so it takes a lot of injuries before you start making changes. By the way, guys, forgive me. I packed on about 10 pounds over the last couple of weeks, and I can feel it, but I've been trying to hit the gym and do my hasty workouts in the morning. I shared a video with you guys the other day. It's mainly diet, just eating pogie bait and not staying squared away, stress, that kind of stuff, and aging. And just the injuries make it really hard to get in those really killer workouts. But I'm going to get back on the high protein paleo diet starting next week. Try to get leaned out again, because you got to look squared away at all times. But anyways, today we're going to talk about a really interesting case, and it's a civil case, but it has criminal repercussions, and it has to do with police and furtive conduct. And a lot of you guys don't really know what furtive conduct is, so we're going to get into that. But the name of the case that we're going to discuss is Santos Argueta and versus Derek Jaradi. And Derek, it was the police officer, shot this kid in the back when he was exiting his vehicle, because he thought he might have a gun, because he was holding his hand to his side while he was running. So within 5 seconds of this kid exiting the vehicle, this cop shot him in the back. And I don't know about the criminal case. If there was a criminal case against the cop, probably not, because, they take care of their own. But there was a civil case brought, and I don't even know who the plaintiff's lawyer was, but Louis Brisbois defended it and took it all the way to the Supremes. And Louis Brisbois, they're like my nemesis. I've had several cases against them, won a few, lost a few, but they are among the best civil defense attorneys in the country. And this was a Texas case, and I'm licensed in Texas and California. So most of you guys keep calling me because you want me to do criminal defense for you, or a civil rights claim because you broke a nail when a cop arrested you. I handle catastrophic injury cases involving, millions of dollars, typically like police shootings, tight handcuff cases where you have an amputated finger or wrist. But if I can't help you with your smaller cases, and I say smaller because typically it costs more money to bring a case like that than you can get from a jury. And a problem that a lot of the cop watcher community has is they have such a piss poor attitude, and they're so belligerent that no jury would ever award them any money. So it's really hard to take a case like that. So I make my money from the cases that I don't take. But that doesn't mean that I won't help you. And one of the ways that I try to help the auditors and the cop watcher community is to teach you that you need to be courteous, considerate, and kind, even to your enemies. Even if you think the cop is a punk, you need to present the image that you're courteous, considerate, and kind, because ultimately, if you do have a criminal case or you do have a civil case, that is going to make all the difference in the world with a jury. Remember, there's like Chili taught me, there's 6 degrees of separation. Probably somebody on that jury has a cop, a sister or a brother who's a cop, for example, and they're not, they're only, less than 1% of the population thinks like us guys, like we're pro natural law, pro Second Amendment. So we have to understand that they're the ones who are going to be sitting on the jury. So I always try to help the cop watcher guys And I'm not a cop watcher. I am a government accountability activist. And Chili just changed his designation to government accountability activist as well. By the way, just for the people who just joined the show, Knife Under the Microscope, good seeing you, brother. Chili and I had a short conversation last night after his site got hacked. And as a result of that conversation, I'm going to go live again after this show to talk about forensically finding who hacked into his website and talk about the different criminal and civil penalties, both federal and state, that we will be able to get against once we find, and we will find these people. Trust me, we will find you. I have a pretty good idea who it is already. You can't hide behind a VPN. We're going to find you. And the cool thing about the, what do they call you guys? The frauditor community or whatever, is you guys are kind of retarded and you talk too much. And we're going to figure out who you are. And I'm pretty sure I already know who it is. And you're going to have a very rude awakening very soon. So it was ridiculous, Christopher. And it was totally uncalled for and not appropriate, because young kids watch that show. I mean, yeah, that kind of stuff is normal in a California public school. Like, they're so ridiculous there. That's like normal to show the kids if you're a male public school teacher, but it's not normal for the rest of us. So we don't like it. We don't appreciate it. But the show that we're going to get into today is going to have to do with this Argueta case. And I think that you guys are going to enjoy what we're talking about. Yeah, Grateful Dab. So last night, I guess around 9ish or so, I got a call from, here's the deal, that there was like male porn being displayed on Chili's channel. Somebody hacked in, and it was like pro police gay porn. Like they had the police flag with the little red or the blue line. And I got physically sick after about 3 seconds. So I made a comment like, wow, or something, and just boned out, immediately called Chili. And I guess he was already trying to find a way to take it down, and he got it down. But Jiminy Christmas, not appropriate, not cool. And obviously it was done because, well, number one, to try to get at Chili, probably for views and likes, for whoever these guys are. They probably are already doing videos about it, laughing about it, which is kind of dumb if you ask me, because that's going to definitely put them in our sights. But it was, I think it was done more than anything because they knew that it was in violation of the YouTube standards and it would get his channel taken down. So keep an eye on Chili's channel. I don't know if he's received a strike or anything like that, but the kind of stuff they were showing would typically get someone's channel taken down right away. So hopefully he's getting that worked out so it doesn't happen. Yeah, Jody, it was freaking horrible, man. And I just got this adrenaline taste in my throat because, he's my buddy. And also, like, the comments people were making, like, Chili's show is getting taken down for sure now. And like, I knew right away that this was being done on purpose. The people making those comments obviously were the people behind it. And I noticed it, just like What's the Matter, you commented on in the comments that him and I were talking, like either this morning or last night, was there were all these different people that we've never seen, like different users in that chat. So obviously those are the first suspects. Find those sock puppets, find the VPN, trace them. We're going to find them. We're going to find out who these people are. Trust me. But anyways, I'll do a show later on today about it, and we'll get into it. But I had a good morning. I made it to the gym, so I feel good. Still got the endorphin thing going. Definitely a lot weaker than I was before I got hit with these kidney stones, and I put on about 10 pounds of body fat. But that's more just depression, from not being able to train. So eating pogey bait, which in the Marine Corps is junk food. But I'll get it off, I'll just get back on the high protein diet. That's all you got to do. You can lose 10 pounds a week just by going on a high protein diet and avoiding sugar. You just stop the sugar and your body will burn its own fat and you'll go into ketosis immediately. It's like almost overnight. Just drink a lot of water, go high protein. I believe in the high protein in vegetables, but Life Under says that doesn't work. Yeah, what's the matter? You eggnog is definitely a problem. And of course, I had an anniversary and a birthday like in a row here. So definitely was eating way too much pogey bait. And right around this time of year, I miss my dad. He passed away from Agent Orange, from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so, food is like the great comforter, right? And it's cold right now where I live. So anyways, I don't want to get too far into that. I want to talk about the Argueta case, Argueta, and this is a Texas case, and it is a Supreme Court case. It's a case of wrongful death, and so wrongful death law is my area of expertise. That's where I've made most of my money. Wrongful death cases involving cruise ships. Many of you don't know that I helped draft one of the Cruise Ship Safety Acts when Kendall Carver was alive with international cruise victims, and that actually was passed by Congress. And I've lobbied on behalf of cruise ship assault victims. His daughter went missing on a cruise ship, so he started ICV. We think she was raped and thrown overboard, and that's pretty common on cruise ships. So part of that bill was to get a laser man overboard system installed on those ships. A lot of them still haven't done it because, as you know, the cruise ship industry goes back right behind us and pays off all these congressmen and senators. So there was no teeth in the bill for a penalty. But that is the way that that and military veteran motorcycle accidents are my claim to fame. I have one of the largest motorcycle accident settlements in the history of the United States. My client was an airborne Army soldier, veteran, and we were able to secure $10.7 million for him, which is it's one of the biggest settlements in the history of the country. And so I'm proud of that because he deserved it. He's a good guy, still alive. So hey, Let's OTVO, good seeing you, brother. Yeah. But we're gonna find out who it is, Life Under. Trust me. It's these guys they're so dumb. Like, these guys are really stupid. And they just think everything's fun and games, but you're not dealing with amateurs. You're dealing with somebody who hires forensic experts, and who has done revenge porn cases and catastrophic injury cases. I'm very connected. I'm not like just some podunk dude with a YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel for different reasons, mainly because I kind of felt guilty about, I guess, turning to the dark side. I became a lawyer because I got beat up by a cop, but then ended up just making a bunch of money doing it because I was so good at it, and always felt that hole in my heart for not going after the government and doing government accountability operations. I mean, in a way I kind of did, but not like I should be. And so I feel like by doing this show, I'm really making up for it. So again, if you guys have cases that are outside my purview of the kind of law that I do, I'll still try to help you find a lawyer. I have a couple of guys that I'm running behind on that have questions for me that I'm going to help with. So you guys know who you are. One of the guys' name starts with Shock. Haven't forgotten about you. I have a buddy of mine who actually was deployed, who's a lawyer who just got back, and he lives in that same state that we were talking about. So I'm waiting for him to get back with me. A lot of my buddies are JAG officers who get deployed. So I try to deal with military guys because we have a different code that we live by. So those are typically the people that I do business with. Hoorah, that's right, Kyle. You understand what I'm talking about. Kyle understands. Kyle was a combat arms officer, and he also has a Ranger tab. And he was trying to engage me once. I think he was like, Rangers, all this, Rangers are the best. And he was expecting me to do the typical motard, no way, Marines are better. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Rangers are badasses. Everybody knows that, like we used to say a Ranger is a basically trained Marine in boot camp and stuff. But, I've trained with Rangers. When I was training at Camp Pendleton, they had some Rangers come out and show us some stuff. And they were actually checking out our light armored vehicles. They were checking out the reconnaissance because we had just gotten LAVs like in 88, 89, and saw these dudes with red berets. And they were a couple of officers, and they were squared away, and they said that they were more than impressed with our bearing and discipline, and they wished that the regular Army was like us. So it was kind of touching, but they were older. Remember, Marines are typically like 17, 18 years old, and your typical soldier is going to be like 20 and up. So Marines are the youngest and most idealistic, but yeah, Kyle's a legit dude. Really like him. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, by the way, we're like a lot of us guys who joined the military, we joined because we wanted to protect and defend the Constitution. And we found out later that our government lied to us. So, a lot of you guys misconstrue military people. Oh, you just are part of the big brother or the government. No, we joined because we thought we were going to be protecting and defending the Constitution. And when we learned there were no weapons of mass destruction, when we learned the greatest geopolitical disaster in the history of this country under Sleepy Joe, where he turned over billions of dollars worth of equipment to the Taliban, our sworn enemy, who killed a lot of my friends. We were disgusted by these guys. And when they ran out of that money pit, they turned to Ukraine because it's all part of the military industrial complex money laundering scheme, say many. And we're disgusted with it. In fact, if you want to find an anti-war, pro-peace person, find somebody who served in the military and who's out. You're going to find that 99.99% of us are absolutely appalled by what our country is doing and how they treated us and our brothers and sisters. So just keep that in mind too. We're going to be more pro-American than anybody you'll probably ever meet. So that just makes me sick just talking about it, guys. Like, I can't even believe it. But anyways, I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the Argueta case. I miss you guys. It's been a couple of days, but I've had back-to-back anniversary. I think I've been married like 25 years almost. I still don't remember. It's just been so long, and I think she knows I'll never leave her. So we're not really counting, right? We got the kids, and they're what matter. But I've got, homeschooling, developing parallel systems, doing business with people who are like-minded, not buying stuff from Target and the Luciferian satanic business, corporate, industrial complex, trying to barter instead of using Federal Reserve notes. That's the way you do it, guys. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you guys helping me out with super chats and super stickers and buying my book. I think we made like almost $500 last month in super chats and book sales, which may not seem like much, and it certainly doesn't seem like a lot compared to what I used to make, but it supplements my income, and it's almost a health insurance payment for my wife and kids. My stuff's covered through the VA, but obviously, in other words, I don't have insurance because going to the VA is like going to hell. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys because it means a lot to me that you guys are trying to support me and my family. And in return, I hope that you're learning from me, not just about the law, but learning that not all of us lawyers are lowlifes. Like a lot of us, at least guys like me, we do care about people, and we have a lot of good stuff to share. And because of my unique background, being a blue collar guy and spending all my time in libraries as a little kid, I have a different perspective than the typical leftist progressive academic. I'm a true patriot, and my father was a Marine. He did 2 tours in Vietnam, and he was so terrified that I would go to hell. He forced me to go to church, which kind of turned me against the church, but he was trying to save my soul. And as a result, I did learn a lot of valuable lessons, which I rejected as a teen, but came back to, just like it says in the Bible, right? Like if you teach your kids right when they're young, they'll return when they're older. And that's what I've done. I've basically come back to all that good stuff. So give me a bunch of ones for my dad. What a cool dude that he was trying to save my soul. Pretty awesome guy. So yeah, Kyle, the other day wife said, going to Target, you want to go? And I said, I will never shop there again. And she snickered. Yeah, women tend to not get it like we do, brother, but Target is a Luciferian evil organization. trying to tell little boys that they can be girls and tell little girls that they can be boys, supporting mutilation of children. I mean, I'll just never support that. And I could never vote Democrat again after that. The fact that people actually think that that's okay is absolutely disgusting. It's just so ridiculous to tell a child that they were born in the wrong body. It's child abuse. So I'm with you, Kyle. And but that's just common sense, you know. It's just common sense. But when you have the media and the academic industrial complex constantly brainwashing you with the television, programming, remember that name, programming, that word. All they're doing is programming you. And you think Salt Shaker, so do I. I hate them. Anyways, I appreciate all you guys standing tall for my channel. So let's talk a little bit about the Santos Argueta versus Derek S. Jaradi. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the, hold on a second. Let me see if I can. All right. So what I'm going to do is I basically kind of plagiarizing a little bit. So the Rutherford Institute did an amicus brief. And so an amicus brief is typically when someone files an appeal, other people who have an interest can also file what's called an amicus brief in support of the appeal or against it. So we'll just talk about it. And here's what it says. The Supreme Court just sent a chilling message to gun owners: comply or die. No joke. SCOTUS fails to hold police accountable for shooting armed citizens who pose no threat. And that's what's going on. That is exactly what's going on. So, and by the way, you know, you guys have heard me supporting Trump's picks. Like, oh man, I'm so happy that, you know, we had these justices because we got concealed carry in California, and, you know, we have justices that upheld Heller. And then here we go. And I was talking to Chili about this yesterday, and like, I'm kind of kicking myself. He's like, I think we're in real trouble with Trump. I think we're going to have more qualified immunity. We're going to have a bigger police state than ever. And it just, you know, I got these visions of Hitler in my head. And you know how you get all pumped up. And then you saw the video that I did the other day with the 10th Amendment Center. You know, people in power, once they get it, they're totally corruptible. And so I'm a little worried about it. So it's a problem. It's a real problem. And we need to definitely keep an eye out, guys. Another reason why I tell you we need to form parallel systems. We need to start working outside the system and helping each other. Like we have, I have like my buddy BZ. I have my buddy Chili, of course. I have Rami, and you know, I try to pump up those guys, and they pump up my channel and try to help me get clients, and that's what we got to do. We have to get off of Google and stop relying on traditional marketing. If you have a business, I'm going to help you support your business. I can add you to my michaelehline.com website as a trusted business. And then of course, hopefully you can add a link to my website, to your website, and we can support each other that way and work outside of this mind control system, right? Right, guys? We work with each other. We work with people we like and trust. And the primary thing that we want to do is we support each other based on natural law. Natural law is what it's all about. So let me, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go ahead and share my screen with y'all. I'm going to share the Rutherford Institute, and I'm going to read it along with you so you can read along with me. So here's how it's going to go. So here it is. The Supreme Court sends a chilling message to gun owners. Comply or die. SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, fails to hold police accountable for shooting armed citizens who pose no threat. All right. The U.S. Supreme Court is sending a chilling message to gun owners when it comes to encounters with police. Comply or die. In refusing to hear an appeal in Argueta v. Jaradi, the Supreme Court is allowing a lower court ruling to stand. which threatens to erode the Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable use of force by police and all citizens who exercise, well, what they call your Second Amendment right. So first of all, I want to explain something to you. I don't believe in Second Amendment rights. I don't believe in constitutional rights. I believe in God-granted, unalienable rights that come to us from our Creator. Give me a bunch of ones if you understand the difference. I am a natural law advocate, and I believe in what John Locke had to say, what Thomas Aquinas had to say, for example, that our rights come from our Creator. And that Bill of Rights and all that stuff, that's a snapshot of just a few of the most important rights. And to be honest with you, it's caused more harm than good, because leftist and progressive judges have used that as a basis to convert those so-called rights into privileges. And you'll even hear them say Fifth Amendment privilege, Second Amendment. What the hell are you guys talking? It's not a privilege. Privilege is something that can be taken away. A right is something that's inherent in all of us. So I hope you guys understand the difference. It's an Orwellian thing. That's right, Alan. It's an Orwellian thing. Alan says that's an Orwellian thing. With the technology, I think they've been able to do that for at least the last 10 years. I think so, man. I agree with you, brother. Anyways, I don't know if we're going to have much of a show today. It's 1:58, but you know, if we can get 100 people in here, I guess we did well, right? And I'll try to create some shorts out of it. But typically, here's what happened. It's going to basically make it easier for police who mistakenly thought someone might be carrying a gun. So in urging the court to hear the case, the Rutherford Institute warned that the Fifth Circuit's ruling could contribute to a rise in the number of incidents in which police officers shoot and kill armed citizens who pose no threat, right? So I don't know about you, but I grew up on like Gunsmoke and Little House on the Prairie. What was the other one? Bonanza. Bonanza. And to shoot someone in the back is the most low life, low down, dirty thing. You're yella. You're yella if you shoot someone in the back. Padre, compadre. You guys remember that? Give me a bunch of ones if you guys understand that when I grew up, you're yella if you shoot someone in the back. That is like the most low down, disgusting, horrible thing you could ever do, is to shoot someone in the back. I want to see that. Wagon Train. That's right. Wagon Train. That was a cool one too. Yeah, give me a bunch of ones. That's right. So basically, in recent years, for merely possessing a gun during the encounter with police, and these are cases where people were shot by police just because they had a gun. So all you guys who think you're in the clear because you got your concealed carry, well, guess what? This is why cops do throwdowns all the time too, because they can say, well, he had a gun to justify murdering somebody, right? I mean, think about this. If you were a hitman or a really wealthy celebrity and you wanted to kill a bunch of people, all you have to do is hire a dirty cop, have him do a throwdown weapon, and he's free and clear and he's got millions. That's what these types of cases do. They make it possible for the CIA and their buddies in the mafia and the cartels, which we know that they work with, you know, smuggling cocaine into our country and stuff like that, to be able to get away with. So, which is terrible. It's not something we should ever support. We should be against that. But basically, these are people who were shot in recent years for merely possessing a gun. Roger Fortson, a senior airman with the U.S. Air Force, he was killed at his apartment in Florida. Philandro Castile, he was shot during a traffic stop in Minnesota. And Andrew Scott, who was killed during a late night knock and talk by police carried out at the wrong address. So you show up, you go to your door, you got your weapon, you're tired, but you got your weapon like I would always have, but I wouldn't open my door, right? The guy opens his door, he's got a weapon, bam. Nice talk, good talk, good talk. Yeah, good talk. Quote, no one should have to choose between their constitutional rights or give up one to exercise another, said constitutional attorney John Whitehead, president of the Rutherford Institute and author of Battlefield America, The War on the American People. With every ruling handed down, it becomes more apparent that we live in an age of hollow justice, where the courts have become fixated on siding with government agents rather than safeguarding the rights enshrined in the Constitution. Can you guys think of some situations like that? I can think of one right now. we had a lot of people that were so happy that Chile de Castro was falsely arrested and jailed just because they didn't like him. And they were rooting for him to go to jail over a misdemeanor charge that he could have easily paid a couple $100 to get out of. But instead, he wanted to fight it. Yeah, he was maybe out of line in court or whatever, but he stood tall for what he believed in, which is the vast majority of Americans are sheep. They won't do that. And his payment was to have what happened to him last night. He's still being targeted. People are so angry that the guy got released from jail and he won his appeal. So just think about that, right? Courts have become fixated on siding with government agents rather than safeguarding the rights enshrined in the Constitution, right? So think about that, guys. Think like that. Think about it. In Argueta versus Jaradi, a police officer killed an 18-year-old boy by shooting him in the back, allegedly without warning, based on the officer's suspicion that he had a gun, merely because of the way he ran away from a questionable traffic stop. According to the allegations in the lawsuit, around 3 a.m. on June 25th, 2018, this was in Texas, Galveston, Luis Argueta drove with his girlfriend to a convenience store in Galveston. Police officer Jaradi and his partner pulled into the parking lot and observed Argueta in the store and then driving out of the parking lot. The officers later saw Argueta and claimed that the car lights were off and that Argueta rolled through several signs before the officer's dash cam started recording. See that? Before they start, so they're claiming they're coming up with a nice pretextual reason to stop him. Well, he didn't have lights on, but we don't have any proof of that. We don't have any proof that he rolled through stop signs because we didn't have our dash cam on. All right. So that's the first problem. That's why I always tell you guys, always record everything and get a camera system in your car as well that's always recording, because you back the blue until it happens to you, right? The dash cam video shows that Argueta's lights were on and that he stopped at all signs and then moved at a moderate speed. So are you guys following me so far? So when they turned on their dash cam video, all of a sudden his lights were on and everything was fine. But they're alleging when their camera was off, right? When it was off, that none of this happened. And that's the reason why they pulled him over. Think about that. This could be your son, by the way, ladies. The police followed Argueta for a few blocks before turning on their emergency lights. Argueta quickly exited the car and ran away toward a vacant lot across the street. Only Argueta's left side was visible to the officers, and his right arm was pressed against his side, like maybe he's got, holding on to his wallet or trying to keep something from falling. Could be a gun too, right? So within seconds, Officer Jaradi shot Argueta twice in the back without warning, suspecting that Argueta was holding a firearm because of how he ran. Jaradi's partner said he didn't know why Jaradi shot Argueta, who died on the scene. Argueta's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Jaradi. I mean, he should have been tried for murder. I don't know about the criminal part, but I doubt the prosecutors did anything. Although the district court denied Jaradi's motion for qualified immunity, right? We've been talking about that for a while. The Fifth Circuit came along and rendered judgment in favor of the officer, granting him qualified immunity. In calling on the U.S. Supreme Court to hear the case and deny qualified immunity for the officer, the Rutherford Institute also filed an amicus brief arguing that keeping one's arms and hand away from view while running without any other indication of a threat does not objectively suggest that a person is armed or dangerous to justify the use of force. And when I was growing up, you shoot someone in the back, you got a lot of splaining to do, Lucy. Just not something you do. Paige H. Sharp, Anand Angeshwar, Kirby Mayo, and Lauren S. Wolf of Arnold, Porter, and Kale and Scholler, LLP, advanced arguments in the Argueta v. Jaradi amicus brief. And by the way, guys, I've tried to get the camera footage. I've tried to get the body cam footage. I've reached out to these guys. I left a message. I can't get it. So if any of you guys, this story has legs as far as I'm concerned. If you guys can get me copies, like maybe BZ can do a public records request of the body cam and the dash cam footage, I would really appreciate it, because this is a really important story for any of you ladies, especially who have children, have sons, right? Because we know boys are naturally more aggressive than girls, and they're more likely to have an altercation with police than females. It's called science. It's called testosterone. So the Rutherford Institute, a nonprofit a civil liberties organization, defends individuals whose constitutional rights have been threatened or violated, and they educate the public on a wide spectrum of issues. So anyways, I got this article from the Rutherford Institute. Let me drop a link to the article here in the sidebar real quick, guys. All right. So, I mean, wow, like, wow, just wow. That's crazy, right? So, and I'm going to drop the brief as well for you guys, an actual copy of the PDF. Just give me 1 second. And so a lot of you guys aren't lawyers, and I respect that. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about furtive conduct or assume that you know what it is until I let one of these guys who actually enforces the law tells you what it is. So I've got a couple of videos that I want to share with you about what furtive conduct is and what we consider furtive conduct to be in the legal system. So hopefully this will be an educational experience for you guys and you'll learn something from this. I've been learning a lot just by doing these shows, by the way, because I do police shooting cases, and this one is definitely in my radar. This is going to be a problematic. And I just think about all these people who just got their CCWs and they think that they're safe. But now, if they get pulled over, even if a cop doesn't see the gun, and for whatever reason he had a bad day, he's mad at his wife and he shoots you, the fact that you had a gun, now it will be more likely to be a justifiable shooting. And he could just say, oh, well, he was doing some furtive movement, and so I shot him because I was in fear for my life. Remember, this guy was running with his back towards the cops. There was no justifiable reason. I mean, I still need to read the whole Supreme Court case, but I'm hoping that there's a dissenting opinion that has some common sense here. I'm absolutely blown away. I mean, shooting someone in the back, guys, it's not something we do as Americans. It is the most un-American, Nazi kind of thing you could ever do, shooting someone in the back. It's unacceptable to me. I can't even believe it. It's like assaulting an old man in a nursing home and you're a nurse, right? Like assaulting someone who's incapable of defending themselves. It's not manly. It's not American. It's un-American. Give me a bunch of ones if you think it's un-American to shoot someone in the back. I can't even believe it. I'm just still in shock about the whole thing. Now, Christopher says, Michael, do you think one night we could do a special show just about Stephanie Lazarus? Of course, man. The deal is like, to get a lot of viewers, I have to have lots of videos and all the bells and whistles because I want to get the message out. It's not that I'm trying to get likes and views. I'm trying to get the message out. I want audience. I want the younger crowd. That's why I shoot in vertical. It's because I want to teach them. I want them to learn about what's going on in the world and win them over to the side of natural law and off of the side of the administrative state, because the administrative state, the bureaucracy, is the enemy of the American people. The bureaucracy includes CNN, PMS-NBC, the academic public school system, and the college system. They're just run by a bunch of Marxists, people who hate America, and they're teaching this anti-American, pro-government mentality. I mean, everything that our founding fathers stood against, they're for. And for that reason, they are the enemy of the American people. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So anyways, let's learn about furtive conduct and what this cop says it is.
Here's what you're allowed to do on every traffic stop you make. This is constitutionally permitted action. You're allowed to stop a vehicle, walk up to the vehicle, collect documentation from the operator of the vehicle or the violator of the vehicle. So maybe it's a passenger who's the violator, and that's the reason for the stop. Maybe not wearing a seatbelt, maybe ashing cigarettes out the window or littering out the window. You can then review the documentation. You can talk to them about certain things because there's constitutionally protected conversations. So this is how it begins. You can, on every traffic stop, ask about departure, destination, and purpose of trip. Those three things are always accepted. It's not a violation of the Constitution. You can also talk to them about the reason they're being stopped. So if you were speeding, I can say to you, did you know you were speeding? You know what the speed limit is here. Why were you speeding? Questions related to the purpose of the stop. Now, I'm allowed to then return to my police vehicle and run warrant checks, write my summonses, and then if no reasonable suspicion arises during this time, which allows me to what?
All right, so we haven't got to furtive conduct yet because I'm trying to do the setup, the wind up, right? So because these questions are asked because he's trying to elicit body language, which is kind of what furtive conduct is. But I just want you to understand they're allowed to ask, guys, but it doesn't mean you have to answer. Let's keep going.
Have continued detainment, I must release without any further cause. That's what you're allowed to do. Now, if during this time reasonable suspicion starts to develop that, wow, this may be more than just a traffic stop, you are allowed to do what? Continue to detain on the side of the road enough time to confirm or dispel your suspicious criminal activity. You also now begin to broaden your questioning, go into more intrusive questioning, and pose questions like, is there anything illegal in the car? So that's how it works. I've got some more good nuggets for you. Where was this dictated? In a case called Rodriguez v. United States, citing a lot of language at another case called Illinois v. Cabayas, 2005.
All right. So, and you can see here, he's got over 70 plus classes taught by experts nationwide, available in person, on demand. Now, I have one of my members here saying I should apply to be at the Blaze. I think the Blaze is like a magazine or something. Hey, look, if you guys have ideas for me where I can help get the message out, where it's not for me, but to help make this world a better place, put in a word for me as well, and email me at circleoflegaltrust@yahoo.com and tell me what ideas that you have. I also am looking for someone to help me with t-shirts, because I want to do like Team MPE t-shirts that have pictures of our founding fathers with like quotes of our founders to help raise money to support the channel, because I'm spending so much time on the channel and obviously it's taken away from my ability to feed my family. It would be nice if I could at least bring in a little bit to support the channel and cover things like editors, because right now I need help converting my videos into my lives into videos, stuff like that. I need somebody to help me. I'm doing everything by myself. It's killing me, man. Like, if you really want to make the world a better place, I mean, I got 20 years in practice and I'm not doing the show for my health. All right. Anyways, so you just saw what this cop is saying. I'm allowed to ask questions, and then, based on the responses, I can get into more questions. And then again, it's an investigation. He's trying to figure out a way to arrest you, put you in the torture cuffs, take you to the dungeon, and take your money. That's their goal, guys. He's a road pirate. That's their job. Their job is to raise revenue. They're revenue generation agents, okay? Like they just shot this kid in the back. And of course, when their dash cam footage was not rolling, they said his lights were off and he was blowing stop signs. When the dash cam footage was on, his lights were on and he wasn't rolling through stop signs illegally. So think about that. Like, oh, thank you. What's the matter, you? So right on, man. What's the matter, you? Just became a YouTube member. By the way, guys, I've got I think over 100 members now. And so believe it or not, that really helps support the channel, because you get a membership for whatever it is, a couple bucks a month. If I get, 500 or 600 people doing that, I mean, that's enough money literally to cover like a health insurance payment for my wife and kids. Gives me more time to focus on doing research and providing excellent content for you that no one else is providing, especially with my legal background. Most lawyers are just terrified to talk about this stuff for whatever reason. I don't get it, man. I appreciate you, What's the Matter, you supporting my channel. It means a lot to me, dude. All right, so let's get into the next video. Here he is. Now we're going to talk about what are furtive movements, okay? Because I want you guys to understand furtive. Because this is what cops are looking for. They're looking for furtive movements, because that's going to justify an arrest. And of course, that's what they want to do. They want to arrest you and throw you in the dungeon so they can raise money for the municipal corporation.
Hey guys, I get this question all the time about what constitutes enough to give the police officer the ability to check somebody for weapons, like a pat frisk or a Terry frisk or a weapons frisk. And the answer is found in your state's case law. Now, more recently, I was asked this question about what constitutes furtive movements. That's a good question, because I hate that word furtive movements. It's used a lot in police reports, and it's very vague. And courts don't like when you use furtive movements. My suggestion is whatever you see going on, maybe you're stopping a car, describe the action. So instead of saying, as I stopped the car, furtive movements began. The front seat passenger was making furtive movements. And I had him outside of the car on the side of the road. They were making furtive movements. No, don't say that. Say, I saw their head go down low, their shoulder dip. It looked like they were reaching under the seat. I couldn't see their hands. Describe exactly what happens, and please get away from using this furtive movements, quote, it's not good. I get it. It's found in case law. It's found in police reports, but it's inherently too vague. And you don't want to set yourself up for a failure in a situation where you could have saved the case by merely spending the time to describe what you actually saw.
Where you could have gotten a conviction. That's what he's saying, where you could have gotten a conviction and raised revenue. And that's your job, is to raise revenue. That's what they do. So I just want you to, especially you ladies with kids, I want you to get an opportunity to meet this 18-year-old kid. This is Mr. Argueta, just a little boy, 18 years old. I mean, Texas, Galveston. Maybe they didn't like him because he's Latino or something. I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? There he is, 18-year-old young man, terrified of police. He got out of his car and ran, and he was shot in the back and killed, murdered. And his parents brought a wrongful death case, and the Supreme Court said, nope. He had his hand to his side, looked like he might be holding a weapon, like trying to press a weapon against his side. So nope, that's it. You know, parents don't get anything. No justice for you. Yeah. There he is. Check him out. 18 years old, just a little boy, just starting life. Imagine that, you know, if you had a son, how you'd feel right now. That's why I do these shows, because of stuff like this. I just can't even believe it. You know, it just blows me away. See if there's any other pictures on here. Here's where he was shot. Cool little flower arrangement. Anyways, there he is, man. I mean, I'm the only guy who's even talking about it. I mean, there's no other YouTube videos about it at all. None. I mean, I'd like to do a GoFundMe for his family. If any of you guys want to help me get in touch with his family, I mean, let's try to help him out. You know, I just am blown away. And then I was talking to you guys earlier about elders and about how, you know, when I was growing up and when my father was growing up, I've told you guys this before. They used to have the 22 freeway was under construction, and all the kids were into drag racing. And so the kids would go out and drag race on the 22 freeway while it was under construction. It was closed. And the local cops, Garden Grove police, would come out and watch my dad and his buddies drag race on duty, watch them drag race. And they knew all the kids on a first name basis. And back then it was community policing. It was peace officers mainly. And they were less concerned about making arrests and more concerned about keeping people safe. And to dishonor an elder back then was like, you couldn't, like, first of all, people slept with their doors closed. Like, nobody touched someone's kid. It was just unheard of. If that happened, it was like almost unheard of, like a big deal. But nobody laid their hands on elderly folks, right? Especially police. Police were taught to respect their elders. It was a totally different mentality. And I don't know what the hell is going on, guys, but I wanted to share this video with you so you can kind of understand why I'm so upset about what's going on in this country. It's crazy.
A Texas police officer has resigned following a videotaped traffic stop in which he's heard and seen berating a speeding driver who's rushing a passenger to the hospital. The video shows Officer Grant Jones with his gun drawn, breaking the driver's side window and pulling 75-year-old Tracy Lott out of the truck. In the truck, 73-year-old Johnny Hodge says he's gasping for air hooked up to an oxygen tank.
It don't make no difference. It don't make no difference. It don't make no difference whatsoever. Just because you got a medical problem, don't think you can come out here on the highway and do whatever you want to do. But you get out of the hospital, you couldn't have to pay an ambulance rate, though.
Hodge says his insurance wouldn't pay for an ambulance, so that's why Lott was driving him.
After he's seen what he was dealing with, he should put his gun back in his holster. Two old men.
The officer handcuffed Lott and wrote him a ticket for speeding and failure to stop. He's still shaken by the incident.
We stepped up that hour and a half. And it took me and Joe.
The chief of police says.
By the way, guys, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but we're all going that way. We're all going to be that old man, and like faster than you think. You think about that. Think about that. This is coming your way. If we don't teach the younger generation about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, natural law, this is going to be par for the course. Look at in Canada, you know, they've got euthanasia. Oh, just going off yourself, you know, so you're not a burden to the system. I mean, look at the way they treat their people there. I mean, that's coming to America. It's already happening in California. So let's keep watching.
As the charges against Lott have been dropped.
This day and time, you know, an officer has to take precautionary matters, and safety issues have to be involved in this.
Translation: this day and age, when our government is flooding our country with illegal alien criminals that are released from Venezuelan prisons, we have to take measures to make it harder on the law-abiding citizens who had nothing to do with that. That's the translation. This day and age, when his boss decided it's okay to flood the country with people that hate us, who want to have their way with our women and children for political reasons, and registering them to vote at the DMV so they can get elected and put our lives in danger, we have to put the citizens' lives in more danger. That's what he's saying. That's the translation.
Things like that determined, but as I said, it's just an unfortunate incident that's taking place, you know, for both parties.
A police review found that Jones violated policy by not waiting for backup officers. He resigned on Tuesday. Meantime, Hodge doesn't think Jones's resignation goes far enough to make up for the incident. He thinks the former officer should have gotten 6 months in jail.
He should not only have gotten 6 months, but I'll bet you this dude is working somewhere else. He's probably working for another department. Now, somebody said that Here's the Deal covered that one. Well, if you did, God bless you, because that's something we need to be talking about, is the abusive treatment of our elders and our senior citizens, a lot of them who are combat vets, who thought that they were fighting for our Constitution and Bill of Rights. And now we see they're being replaced by illegal aliens who hate their guts from Roman civil law democracies. They know nothing about our history, about how our country was founded based upon a revolution where the king tried to disarm the people, and the people revolted against the king because he tried to take away their guns. They don't even teach you that in school. They teach you guns are evil. We need to take away your guns. They want to make us like Canada. And we need to take back our country, guys. So here's another cool video that I have about an LA County deputy who was charged in a fatal shooting of an unarmed man. Now here's the deal. Here's the deal. I don't know about the backdrop or the background on a lot of these videos, but if armed assailants are walking up to my car, I may do the same thing this guy did. I don't know. Let's take a look and you tell me what you think.
Former LA County Sheriff's deputy has been charged with the fatal on-duty shooting of unarmed 24-year-old Ryan Twyman. Twyman, who was under investigation, was sitting in a car in Willowbrook in June of 2019 when officers walked up, opened up the back door. The LA County DA's office says 37-year-old Andrew Lyons is set to be arraigned on one felony count of voluntary manslaughter and 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Lyons is accused of getting his rifle and shooting into the car after it stopped moving.
All right. So in that particular instance, God, I don't even know where to start. It's just so disgusting. But in that particular instance, you know, you can see there's a Fourth Amendment violation. They're opening the guy's car door. They don't have permission. They don't have a warrant. And then the guy is startled. Could have been asleep in his car. We don't know. We don't know all the facts, but what we do know is there was no permission to open up the car door. And the guy books out of there. And look, if I see someone pointing guns at me, I'm assuming they're trying to shoot me. If I see a uniform, until you prove to me you're really a cop, look, the way our country has flooded this country with illegal aliens and the way the cartels have taken things over, that could just be a cartel member dressed as a cop. There's no way you would ever know. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree with me. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. What's going on, BZ? Everybody say hi to BZ Watchdog. Everybody say hi to Rami. Thanks for joining the channel today, guys. So here's another interesting body cam footage of a gunfight in Riverside County. And again, I don't have the backdrop on all these things, so I can't make a whole lot of judgments, but I can just tell you based on what I do see, like, well, I didn't see them serving a warrant on that dude. So that tells me there's a problem. And obviously those cops got in trouble, and that's a rare occasion. And the only reason they got in trouble is because somebody was recording. There was, so that's why I always tell you, don't record. Somebody obviously was recording, and that's why that happened. Let's check out this video.
The Sheriff's Department shows the final moments of cop killer William McKay's life. Late last year, McKay shot and killed Deputy Isaiah Cordero during a traffic stop in Jurupa Valley. He would later lead authorities on a chase that ended on the 15 freeway in Norco at one point with more than 36 vehicles in pursuit, pinned in by deputies who say he opened fire on them, so they returned fire. A lot of it. Air 7 HD was overhead, seeing bullet holes visible in the truck, and McKay shot dead in the front seat. He was a 3-strike offender awaiting sentencing for kidnapping, assault, and running from police. But the judge in the case, Kara Hudson, twice delayed sentencing and inexplicably lowered his bail. McKay failed to appear for sentencing in October of last year, and then in December took Deputy Cordero's life.
It is the judge that personally did this, but it is a failure of our legislators.
New video released by the Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
So, you know, there's one where it could be like a wobbler. You know, the guy might be dangerous out there. I don't know, but I'm just showing you this is going on. And how do you know who the good guy is, who the bad guy is? A lot of my clients are 3-strikers and were falsely convicted. And now you put someone in a position where they're going to flee and they're going to fight because they know they're going to jail for life if it's a 3-striker. Think about that. So you have to also think about the consequences of these laws. The 3 strikes law is pretty unfair. When you think about it, it forces someone to become a fugitive. And of course they're going to do that. They're going to do whatever they have to stay out of prison for life. So it's just unbelievable, man, what's going on, guys. Hey, SWE Observer, good seeing you. My Swedish friend who is a victim of having his country flooded with jihadis by his own government, where the assaults against women are up by I think over 400%, and it's illegal to discuss or report the statistics in his country about the assaults against females by these foreign invaders that were invited into their country by their government. It's illegal in Norway and Sweden to even talk about it. The same way in the UK, where they'll throw you in jail if you talk about it on social media. So there's no way to get true, accurate numbers. But we do know that in Sweden, by the way, I'm a Swede by ancestry. They're finally starting to ship these people back to their terrorist countries that they came from, thank God. But look, this is the problem that I'm having. Our government floods our country with people who hate us and our way of life. And then they pass laws to restrict our freedom, after what they did. That just give me a bunch of ones if you're disgusted by that. Like, why should we have to pay? Why should we have to pay the price for their stupid legislation? Unacceptable to me. It's ridiculous. All right, so I've got another one here. This is a redacted video, so I think I'm okay to show it. Let's check it out. This isn't a fatal officer-involved shooting, full redacted, so I shouldn't get censored by the thought police, but I want you guys to take a look at it. Now, I'm not hearing any audio here, but you can kind of see what's going on here. Now, BZ says it's not against the law to be belligerent to law enforcement. I agree. It's not against the law. It's your right to be belligerent to cops and everybody else. But if you want to win a civil case, a jury probably won't give you any money. So it's always good to be courteous, considerate, and kind to everyone, not cuss at them or make any kind of comments about them that could potentially be used against you later by some Karen who's going to be the one deciding your fate at the jury. So that's something that I learned a long time ago when I was doing my own version of cop watching back in the day when we had the big VHS cameras, right? And they would just take our cameras and stomp on them, break them, beat us over the head with clubs and throw us in jail. I mean, it was like Orange County cops were horrible. Orange County police, since you guys watch the video while I talk, all right? So back when I was growing up, Newport Beach, I lived in Newport Beach for a while because I was a surfer. And Newport Beach police were notorious for pulling over Mexicans and blacks, and they called them 909ers. And I don't know if there's anybody in my channel here from California, but they call them 909ers. And 909 is the area code for like Riverside and Corona, where all the poor people live, right? And they would want to come to the beach. So they would pull them over as soon as they pulled in off Bristol, man, boom, pulling them over. And that's how Newport Beach raised their money. And man, they hated it when Big Worm moved into Newport Beach. Call him Big Worm, the black basketball player. There we go. Let's listen to the sound. Now we got some sound.
Illinois. You make a left turn right now.
So this is redacted, so it should be okay.
Right on Madison Street, 500 Madison Street.
I'm trying to understand why the body cam's covered up.
You make a left turn. Be advised. Make a left turn.
Maybe that's
Third
his
Street.
arm steering.
Left turn, Third Street. Good.
Looks like a G17. What do you guys think? Is that a Glock 17? Or maybe a G40?
Shot fire. One man down. We got a gun. Gun down. We got a gun and we got a man down. Send me the board. Send me the board. At the intersection 57 in Madison. 200.
I'm gonna clear.
Madison.
I'm gonna clear. Get this hand.
You got to handcuff him, of course.
Be advised, dispatcher. Got a weapon recovery.
Send the
Advise the watch commander respond to the scene as well. Use of force. I fire my weapon.
Subject is bleeding. Somebody's bleeding black.
Where is he bleeding?
I'm trying to figure out right now what he shot for.
Do you have any first? You got a first aid kit?
Yes. All right. So you're gonna get the charges weapon. Let's begin with the first person.
He shot one.
Step it
up. Step it up. It's the head area. It's the head.
Dispatcher, be advised, you got one male unconscious. Appear to be one gunshot wound to the head.
What else we got? Come on. Talk to me.
Shot to the head.
That's fine, just go. No injuries to APD, dispatcher.
So I don't really know much more about this particular shooting, but I was hoping by showing this to you guys, you could help me find additional information about it, because it's a little disconcerting to see that some dude gets shot in the back again, right? And now we have the Supreme Court precedent that says, well, if they have a gun, you can shoot them in the back. Look, I carry everywhere I go, and most of our founding fathers, I think all of them carried, and it's a fundamental, unalienable right to be able to carry a firearm. And now we're seeing that there's this new line of cases coming out, basically saying if you do exercise your right to carry, you're going to get shot. They have the right to shoot you and get qualified immunity for that if you were making some kind of furtive movement. So, I don't know the whole story. I'm not going to sit here and try to prejudge what happened, but I'm a little concerned. So I got one last video I want to share with you, and then we're going to call it quits until I come on at 4:30 to talk about Chili DeCastro's situation where he got hacked last night. And I'm going to talk about the different types of legal claims that he's going to have against once we find these people who did this. But anyways, let's watch this video really quick.
Today, community activists will rally outside Las Vegas City Hall to get justice for Brandon Durham. He was 43 years old, a realtor, a father. Durham was shot by police last week after he called 911 to report a home invasion. Now, a warning that what you're about to hear is disturbing.
He's trying to kill people.
Who's trying to kill people?
These two people out here shooting guns at my house.
Did they shoot it at your house?
Yeah.
How long ago? How many minutes?
Right now, right this second.
So were you shot or how are you injured?
I'm hurt. I don't know. I got my hands cut as everything is happening right now. Send someone help.
Now, when officers showed up, he was struggling to get a knife from a woman, and that's when an officer fired 6 shots at Durham. He died, and the woman was out.
So we're just going to go ahead and
she's been charged with assault with a
trouble.
deadly weapon, home invasion with a deadly weapon, domestic violence, and child abuse. The officer who killed Durham is on administrative leave, but Durham's family wants him arrested and charged. With us now are Brandon Durham's sister, Diane Wright, and attorney Lee Merritt. Welcome to you both. And Diane, when you see that video that we just played a bit of, that body cam video, what do you feel? What do you think?
It is heart-wrenching. It is heart-wrenching hearing the terror in his voice. I was actually able to see the uncut version, seeing the look on his face. It is completely heartbreaking. I can't get the image out of my head. It was truly a disservice.
Attorney Merritt, police acknowledge, and this is one of the more interesting details about this, disturbing even, is that they responded to a call to Durham's house the previous day. Las Vegas Police PD says that on that day, quote, Durham called police and Boudreaux agreed to leave. Was the officer who fired the shots that killed Brandon Durham, was he there the day before?
We're still trying to figure out everything that was involved in the previous call from the day before. We know that it was Las Vegas Metro PD. So they would have had a description of Brandon as well as at least the assailant from the previous day. The law enforcement has not been forthcoming in turning over that police report, although they're sharing snippets with the media. We want to know if it was Officer Bookman who was there as well. We just don't know that yet.
The general counsel for the Las Vegas Police Department told CNN this week, unlike a civil case in which an individual's negligence is at issue, criminal cases require proof of a person's criminal intent. While Mr. Durham's death is tragic, Officer Bookman was doing his job and did not intend to commit a crime.
Doing his job.
Do you believe that there is criminal intent or that it's even necessary in this case?
Well, first of all, there's also negligent homicide. So I don't really understand what the hell they're talking about. So this is just kind of weird to me.
And, the reason I think they're talking about how things move differently civilly than criminally is because they see this as a civil mistake. But we saw how they treat criminals with how they treated the intruder. Here, police officers are simply not permitted under the Constitution, under the law, under common sense, to use deadly force unless they're confronted with deadly force or unless someone else is being confronted with that. So Bookman doesn't have the excuse that he was doing his job, because his job was to go in there and protect the homeowner, to make a reasonable assessment of the facts, and to behave as a reasonable police officer under those circumstances. And I just don't think he did.
Diane, I want to read more from the police report. Quote, after the shots, Boudreaux told the officer that he shot the wrong person. She told police, quote, I wanted the cops to shoot me dead, and I wanted Durham to live with the wreckage that I caused in his house. That, according to what we're getting from the police department, the intent was suicide by cop, but instead her alleged scheme ended with your brother's death. When you read that and learn that, what's your reaction?
Again, this is all news to me. I had no idea what was going on regarding that. All I'm able to see is the aftermath. And again, my intent, it just keeps going back to witnessing my brother and the tragic way that he was taken down and murdered by the police. I am unable to fathom and comprehend how this even went so horribly. It is completely, I keep repeating it, it is heartbreaking. His family loved him. He loved his family. There is nothing he would not have done for his family. He was ripped away from us. The whole situation was extremely tragic.
And he was a father. His 15-year-old daughter, I believe I read, was at the home at the time. How is she doing?
She's doing her best to be strong during these challenging times. she's as well as can be expected. That her father was her sole provider at that time. He was everything to her, and his life was ripped away while she's down the hall in her room while his life is being taken from him after calling for help. Like he is supposed to do, like a good citizen would do. He's calling for help to get assistance, to try to defend his home, protect himself, protect.
Yeah, how about that? So the guy calls 911 thinking that the police are going to show up and protect him. He's being shot at. The police know that it's a male caller, and they shoot the male. And the woman has a knife in her hand, not him. And he's defending against the knife. But the officer, black male, right, automatically suspect, boom, takes him out. I mean, think about that. Think if you were a reasonable police officer, well, maybe in his department that's reasonable to just shoot the black male. But for me, after what happened to me, and I'm a white guy, I can't even imagine what black dudes go through. Give me a bunch of ones for the innocent black dudes that have been shot, because that could be you. That could be your son. That could be your son. I mean, think about that, guys. That could be your son.
His daughter, and we all see what the result of that came out to be.
Diane Wright, our condolences on the loss of your brother. Attorney Lee Merritt will continue to follow this case. Thank you both for being with me this morning.
Thank you, Victor.
All right. So, we just had a quick show today. I know it's a Saturday. It's not like a big million people showing up. We still got a couple thousand people in here. I just wanted to cover the Argueta case. I know typically when I cover Supreme Court cases and stuff, it's not like a big, millions of people come into the chat, but it was an important case for me to share with you because it shows you what's going on with the Second Amendment, guys. Like, we're definitely not out of the woods. Yeah, sure, we have more Second Amendment freedoms to carry, but the police now are going to rely on Argueta to be able to shoot people and then just allege that there was some furtive conduct that they look suspicious, so we had the right to blast them. So it sort of like diminishes the power of your ability to defend yourself. Now, with respect to this last video that we saw, we've got a guy who calls 911 because he thinks the cops are going to come and protect him, and they don't. And so this is another reason why I tell you guys, be armed and be ready at all times to defend you and your family. You should have, as far as I'm concerned, you should have a firearm in every room of your house at the ready. One in the pipe, ready to go. If you don't have kids, always have one in the pipe. If you've got kids, do the Israeli draw situation, because you don't want to, especially if you use a striker. But if you've got multiple safeties, like a 1911, yeah, go ahead and have one in the pipe, like an FNP or something, 15 in the mag and one in the chamber. So 16, one in the pipe. Good to go. But I like using 45s, and now here's the other issue. If you're going to use hollow points, that gives the prosecutor the ability to say that you were using a cruel and unusual round. They could try to allege that you reloaded that round and use that as an unusually deadly weapon. They'll come up with stuff, guys. So I'd always try to use FMJs, even though I know that it can go through walls and stuff and harm other people. But that's just me, because I know I'm going to hit what I'm shooting at. But if it's somebody who is less experienced, maybe you'll just consider using just like a lead round, not an FMJ, but just like lead. Because at least it'll get stopped in the wall. So one of the cool things about using hollows is that you shoot them into drywall, they tend to break up more and not go into your neighbor's house. And then always, you always want to aim. You got to train, guys, if you're going to defend yourselves, but aim in such a way to where the round is going down and not up, right? Because you don't want to shoot into your neighbor's house. But be armed and ready to defend yourself against an attacker who breaks into your home. If you call the police, you might end up getting shot by the cop. So just think about that. It's just scary, scary stuff. Yeah, and Dope Six says always record everything. Absolutely, brother. Always record everything, man. So hopefully you guys like that show. Now, before you guys go, We're gonna do a show about. Let me see. Is it 4:30? Let me take a look and make sure to double tap, guys. Make sure to double tap the screen. Give me some likes. Give me some love. Thank you for the super chats and all that stuff that you guys gave me today. Every little bit helps, man. Every little bit helps feed the fam. We're gonna do another show today. Give me 1 second. I want to give you the times. I'm gonna do another show at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Let me drop the link for you. 4 o'clock. I'm gonna do another show. And I don't know if it qualifies as revenge porn or whatever, but I've done some revenge porn cases, so it kind of reminds me of that. Let me just drop this link for you guys. Hold on. So I'm going to do another show today. It's called, here, I'll share it. I'll share it with you. Share it with you on the screen. So what happened is Chili, hold on. I'm sharing myself on YouTube. Holy crap. Let me get over here, guys. Lives and hacked. All right. All right. So today at 4 o'clock, I'm going to do a quick show about how delete laws got hacked last night. And hopefully I can get Chili to come on too. I'm going to try to get him to come on. Hopefully he'll have some time. We're just going to talk about the federal, state, civil, and criminal potential penalties against the people who did that. So basically what happened is sometime last night I was asleep and Brian from Here's the Deal called me and said, hey, Chili's channel has been hacked and they have all this gay porn and stuff. So I checked it out and almost threw up because it's so disgusting seeing a bunch of dudes going at it. Gross. And I called Chili, and I guess he was already in the process of taking it down, so he didn't pick up. But we ultimately spoke later and talked about it. And so as a result of that, I said, you know what, man, I'm going to do another show today. We're going to talk about it. We're going to just kind of go over what's going on. And I'll just share with you my impressions being a personal injury attorney and someone who has sued people for negligent and intentional interference with contractual and business relations, as well as the criminal side. And it's probably not really like revenge porn, because revenge porn is typically where, you know, you do like a video of you and your girlfriend and then she breaks up with you. So then you start sharing it all over YouTube to get revenge against her for leaving you. So that's a little bit different. Or just, you know, finding someone's stash of homemade porn and sharing it on the internet. That's a felony and you can go to prison for doing that. It's not a good thing, but in this case, it was being done to target my friend and to try and take down his channel, obviously, because it goes against the terms of service over at YouTube. So hopefully we can have Chili on and have him talk about it. But I definitely am gonna talk about that today at 4 o'clock. It won't be a super long show. I'm just gonna blast through the statutes and the codes. I'm not gonna do a bunch of reaction videos or whatever. And we'll get into it and have some fun. And then after that, since I didn't get to see Gladiator on my anniversary, we're going to go see Gladiator tonight with the fam. So Gladiator Part 2. So it should be a good one. One of my favorite movies of all time. And Life Under the Microscope, it could be. We don't know who it was yet, but I'm pretty sure, I think I know who it was. And I think I know how we're going to find them. And just so you guys know, you can't hide behind a VPN. You can't hide behind a server network. There are ways forensically to find the people who did this, and we will find you. And the good news is we already have a pretty good idea of who it is. It's probably somebody in the frauditor community who doesn't like Chili. Those guys who make their living off of trying to destroy people like BZ and Chili. You know, that's how they get views and likes. And, you know, when they're not busy whacking each other off with their blue line mafia or whatever, trying to hurt other people and their businesses. And, you know, there's certain things that are off limits, guys. So think about that. You know, you'd never see me trying to go after someone's business just because I have a philosophical or political difference. It's not how you do it. That's why we did away with dueling. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Everybody make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. And with that being said, Semper Fi, do or die.